Hello YouTubers, welcome to PDINA, Royally Teachable Moments. I hope you're doing well today. Well, I wanted to talk about some information that I saw in the news. Yes, there's just so much news out there. And when I see the news, I want to speak about it because I feel that it's of social importance of our current day, pop culture around royalty and the things that I do within my charity. Yes. And even Otis agrees, right, Mr. Otis? You agree. He agrees. We talk about it all the time. So what is happening? Well, we see that Miss Meghan has made her butt on over to the Invictus Awards. And, as an American and a woman of color myself, I like to speak on the news relating to this other American woman over in Europe who's married into the royal family. Yes, I like to speak on her because it's relatable to me in my life. Yes. And that's why I do it. So I am going to be discussing my opinion about what is happening with the PR and Meghan and what she is trying to do and why it doesn't really quite look like she is going to win this PR war. It's not going to work. It's going to really continue crashing down, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Let's get into it. Right, so Meghan, she threatens her PR plan with some really calculated moves, some things that she is doing, and there's a lot of doubt on her authenticity. There is no real authenticity within this woman, and that is what is going to jeopardize her whole PR plan because she can't quite seem to be real, and people can sense fake. Okay, so we already know this, but let's look at the details of what she is actually doing. Well, first of all, the fact that she didn't even go over to the United Kingdom for the Well Child Awards with Harry just shows that she doesn't even want to go back to Great Britain. She wants to never set foot in that country again, which makes her an enemy of the country, in my opinion. Yes, it makes her an enemy of the people. People see her as just dissing them, not trying to make amends, not trying to be the better person for the sake of the work that her husband is doing over in Great Britain. She doesn't really show herself to be somebody that really is trying to do things for the right reasons. She's still like, I hate you. I ain't going there. I'm going to act like you don't even exist. I'm never going to go there. And that's what it looks like she's doing, right? What we can see is that she is trying to humanize herself. And let me tell you something, the body language, the things that I saw when she went to this Invictus Games and she went to the wheelchair basketball games. Oh my goodness, y'all, this marriage is on the rocks. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get into that. Okay, so anyway, she's been trying to humanize herself. This is an article that I saw in the Express, and she's trying to make the public perceive her as more relatable. She wants the people to think that, I'm nice. Like me, I'm here with my husband. Yes, that's what she's trying to say by being at the Invictus Games. And I think part of the problem is that she's at the Invictus Games right now. Why is she wearing what she's wearing? It looks like she's not even trying to show up to be there for the Invictus Games. Why are you not wearing a shirt that shows the Invictus Games and wearing something casual? Why you gotta be dressed up and showing those ankles? Like, why are you showing them off? Why? Just wear some jeans, wear a t-shirt, shows Invictus. I'm here, I'm about the people. I'm not about what I want people to think of me, because that's what that outfit says to me. It doesn't come off as something that feels like you're trying to be there for the Invictus Games. It just because of what she's actually wearing. Meghan, she joined Harry 4 days into the game, apologizing for delay, citing her desire to spend more time with their children, Archie and Princess Lily. Now, let me just tell you something. Look, okay? You trying to make it about your kids now? Okay, no, you're there to work. You're there to do your job, to support the people. When you have children, you make these sacrifices. You could have been there to support your husband, considering the PR disaster that you had together in New York City. So where she is trying to show her loyalty is a sign. Her loyalty is not with the couple branding with Harry at the Invictus Games. She's trying to make up, well, I want to spend more time with my kids. Well, look, you spend time with your kids every day, all day. It's not like you go to a 9-to-5 job and you don't see your kids half the time while you're in California. So trying to say you want to spend more time with them is just such a lame excuse. Bring your kids. You got the people, the staff, the money to do that. So that in itself doesn't even seem like a logical, good reason. It surely does show to me that this is an excuse because you didn't want to go to the United Kingdom to show people you were in solidarity with your husband. You didn't want to have any backlash by going into the United Kingdom. And also, you really just didn't want to be there with your husband that long. I mean, let's just keep it real. She wanted to be poke in and out. Okay, that's what that says to me. So yeah, we're not trying to hear no excuses at this point. Okay, now she gave a speech. Now she described herself, described her need to drop Archie off at school and offered a glimpse into their daily life, scene that she treated both the kids to milkshakes to sweeten their separation. Now let me ask you something. Why do we have to hear this in your speech? Why? Why? We don't need to hear you talk about what you're doing with your children. This is not about you. This is about the men and women who are playing in these games, and you're showing up as a side piece to your husband and what he has started and what he has going on. You see, but she thinks this is about her, and people want to hear about you like you being a mommy and all. Isn't that just so nice? She went and she did that for her kids. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, what you guys say about the Invictus Games? No, people are not saying that and looking at it like that. I just think she's so desperate for people to like her and to relate to her about being a mom. But most people can't relate to her about being a mom because she is somebody that can afford the extra care and support. So she doesn't have to try to make us think that, you know, she's got limited resources. It just doesn't come off right. And this is why Meghan is not going to win the PR battle. But Smith noted speaking of the children could be perceived as a calculated move that could ultimately leave the Duchess facing questions about her authenticity. And that's exactly right. Just like when she wrote that letter to her father and she said in the email to her secretary at the time, within the royal family, that she wanted to write, "Hi, Daddy," you know, to tug at the heartstrings of the people that were going to read the letter. We know she is calculating. We know that she said that because she wants people to be like what I just said about her being a mother. And it just doesn't work. You can't try to make moves so that people will feel a certain way that you're trying to make them feel. It doesn't work. And that's why we're sitting here eating our popcorn, just like, really, for real, girl, you gonna say your kids, you gonna talk about your kids and try to make us think you're relatable. Okay, go ahead, what else you got? And we sitting and we watching and we like, that don't work. That don't work. No. It just, for me personally, I am really entertained by this. Are you? Are you entertained by her failed attempts at trying to win over people? Because when is the day going to come where I'm going to say this? Wow, Meghan, girl, you were real. I feel you, girl. Now I'm relating to what you're saying. When is that day going to ever come? When? I don't know if it ever will. We sitting here eating our popcorn thinking, woman, what's wrong with you? A PR company went on to say sharing personal anecdotes about family life is a tried and true method to humanize oneself and foster a sense of relatability with the audience. It allows the public to connect with public figures on a more personal level as they can identify with the joys and challenges of parenthood. However, it is important to tread carefully when interpreting such statements. Meghan's assertion of being a committed mother, particularly in the context of her busy schedule and the presence of a nanny, raises questions about the authenticity of her claim. While she may genuinely prioritize her children, there is a risk of this assertion coming across as calculated move to shape her public figure. And this is how what she has done with the talking about being a mother and trying to get people to relate to her has backfired on her, because it's just a feeling that we get, and people can't relate to her as a mother just because of how she uses her kids as pawns anyway. And you don't allow people to even see your children. You're so overly secretive with things. Why should we relate to you when you speak about them when you don't even really allow us to see them? And then going into watching them at the Invictus Games, when you see them sitting in the stands and Harry is like talking this guy's head off. I'm like, Harry, what you saying? The game is going on. Why are you so overly enthralled with speaking to the guy on your right? That's what he's doing in this very moment. Why? Because he is trying to distract from having to have an awkward pause to speak with his wife. That is my opinion. I believe that Harry is trying to indulge himself into a conversation with the man sitting on his right so that he can lose the interaction that he would have to have with his wife on his left. Because not once when I was watching them sitting together, see them look at each other, not once were they engaging or just have a quick glance at each other like, oh honey, it's so nice and it's so nice, and like see each other connect and then go back in an authentic way. You can make it authentic. You don't have to make it where it's like we trying real hard, but you can see that there is tension in this relationship. I don't see them holding hands. And if they do, there are times when they are briefly holding hands, but they're not as close as they normally were when they would hold hands. When you watch it now, they're further apart as they hold hands, showing me that they're trying to intentionally have that moment of hand holding when they can't help it, but they're not trying to be too close to each other. This is a couple that is very, very much strained in their relationship. And then there are details that talk about how Meghan travels without her glam squad. Oh, okay. So there's a news article saying that you travel without your glam squad. So people are supposed to be like, oh, okay, now I can relate to you because you don't have your glam squad. No, she don't have her glam squad because I'm sure the people of the Invictus Game says we're not paying for that. Because in previous years they have, only because these were some of the requirements that she had and why they had to spend so much money when Meghan became a part of the Invictus Games because of her demands. So look, stop. Meghan is losing the PR battle. She is losing in every way because she cannot seem to be an authentic person. She is shown up to something that is even losing its whole identity becomes around what they are doing and not really about the Invictus Games. And my whole vibe, just looking at Harry and Meghan, this is a couple that is really stressed. Meghan looks extremely not comfortable with what is happening. She doesn't have that vibe of I love my husband and we're here doing what we got to do. No, she looks like she's using it as an opportunity for branding herself. It just doesn't have a feel of authenticity. I think you can tell in the body language of both Harry and Meghan. She's sitting there at the basketball games talking with the person sitting next to her left. Harry speaking to the guy sitting to his right. They're not really making any eye contact. I have not seen them even really look at each other. Harry has this stance about him that seems very, I am not feeling you woman kind of a thing. And I can just tell they're showing up to show us that all is right in the world. But the reality is you can really get a sense of people and their body language and how they have been before to how they are acting now. And you can see something ain't right with this couple and all that they're going through. I can sense it. I know watching them has been for me one of those things where, okay, me and my popcorn, I'm like, yep, I knew it. Just look. Harry, he just looking at her like, what? Say what you gotta say, woman. Say it. And then Meghan is just like, okay, I'm getting ready to say what I gotta say. And, you know, they're just kind of going through the motions. They're going through the motions, smiling, and then the smiles drop and there's no eye contact. And their body language seems very cold to me and deliberate to not really be touchy-feely. It's almost as if you're purposely trying to make it so that you don't even have these moments of where you're actually touching each other. And to me, that says a lot about the state of your marriage, your life in general right now, the stress that you may be going through. And it is definitely a wake-up call, I think, for the royal family to see that, yeah, I think Harry has been meeting with the royals. And I think he's getting professional advice about the day that this marriage is going to come to an end, because Meghan's PR, she's losing the PR battle. And we can see that the divorce is on the horizon. It is on the horizon. Oh, I see it. It's right over there. It's right over there.